Welcome to episode 102 of the Epilogue Lady podcast. My name is Bente and I'm coming to you from Vesterålen, northern Norway, where I live with my husband, my son and 3 cats. You can find me on Instagram as Arctic Crafts, on Facebook as Arctic Crafts by Bente, and on Ravelry as Arctic Crafts 65. There is also a Ko-fi page where you can support me and the podcast. And you find links to everything on my Instagram profile, so finding me on Instagram is the easiest way to find everything else. It's me, editing Bente. I of course forgot something. And it's sort of important as well because I have a make-along running, and I should have talked a bit about that. It's the Arctic Summer of Socks. And it's running to the end of August, and there will be prizes drawn both on Ravelry and the prize on Instagram. And the hashtag is Arctic Summer of Socks 2023. And I didn't talk about it. I'm not sure why. I think it's because it's going all summer, so I tend to forget about it, sort of. I hope you are knitting lots of socks. I know there's been quite the activity on the Ravelry thread. The thread is both for comments, chatter and FOs, but only FOs, entries with FO pictures, will get the prize. One other entry will get the pattern prize. So, now I'm going to let you see the rest of the podcast. As you could tell, there was a bit of a change in my intro. Both me mentioning that my son also lives here, and I've cut the Etsy out of my intro because my Etsy shop is now closed. And as you can tell, I have a different backdrop. I'm actually sitting in our bedroom. I decided to do it this way because now I have a proper camera. I don't need as much space to record. So I actually can use our bedroom. And this is quite a messy backdrop, but anyway, it's a backdrop. Both my husband and my son are here, and I keep looking at the viewfinder, sorry, are here, and I couldn't just throw them out. I'm going to record a podcast while my youngest son is here as well, so I decided the bedroom was the best option. So this is kind of going to be my recording studio for the summer, I think. I like the backdrop, I love the light in from the window, so I might actually keep on doing this until the light becomes when it becomes too dark for me to record in here. I'll just move out until into the living room again. I'm not sure what happened to my speaking abilities. I woke up this morning and was completely stuffed, and I kept sneezing. And I checked, and there's a lot of grass pollen in the air, and I'm allergic to pollen, and especially grass pollen, so that's probably it, because that's typical. It's late, but when it happens, it's intense. Like everything else here in summer, we have a short but intense summer. Everything sort of happens at once when it gets hot like this, or it's not what you would call hot. It's more like warm. It's about 24-25 degrees centigrade when it's at its hottest, and that's more than hot enough for me, mind you. My youngest son is we're picking him up late tonight, and he's going to stay with us for 3 weeks, so my next podcast I'm recording while he's here, and hence the reason why I decided to figure out a proper recording space in the house, because I knew I had to record at least 2 podcasts while there were other people in the house. Maybe we should start talking about knitting. I'm wearing my Soul by Jacqueline Cieslak. It's finished. It's really cropped. I don't mind that, because I'm going to wear something underneath anyway, because it's see-through. And you can hear one of the cats on the outside. I have the window open. So that's the Sol by Jacqueline Cieslak. I knit this in Sandnes, tynn line. And the colorway is 3511. And I have this much left of the last ball. I had to break into this just before I finished it. And we'll talk about, so that's one of my FOs. I say what's happening to my speaking abilities. So that's one of my FOs. My other FO is something you haven't seen because I hadn't cast it on the last time I spoke to you, because this is sort of the thing that I knit in a couple of days. And it's a Ranunculus. And I've been wearing this a lot. I love this color. And this is knit in a cotton linen blend. Line by Sandnes Garn, and this is the colorway 8521. And the same thing here, I had to break into this ball when I had just a few rows left. And I bought all this yarn at my local yarn store, and if I have yarn left, I can exchange it for something else. And that's why it's so irritating having to break into one extra ball. But I think both of those are going to become dishcloths, but because I know from experience that anything linen blend is perfect for dishcloths. So those are my FOs. Then the light from the window is reflecting off my glasses. Let's see, and then we're going to talk about my whips. The first thing is my project for the Knitters and Critters make-along. And it's these. I finished the first sock. And it's the Wizardy socks by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears. And the yarn is... maybe I'll try to get this... yeah. Maybe I'll write a song about you. I tore it! Maybe I'll write a song about you from Corner of Craft, and it's inspired by the bard Dorian Storm in Bell's Hells. And so that's why I'm entering it into the Knitters and Critters make-along. And I have donated the prize for that make-along as well. And you can find the details and how to enter and everything on their Instagram. And they also have a YouTube channel. Knitters and Critters. So that's my Wizardy socks. And I also have the cardigan that I'm insisting on calling the Prairie cardigan, because I don't want to try the French pronunciation anymore. I finished the body on that, and I've started the first sleeve. And for the body, you knit a certain amount of rounds between the fades, and I'm knitting 4 rows less between the fades on the sleeves than I did on the body, because I don't want the sleeves to be too long. I think they're going to be long-ish as it is, but I don't want them to go down onto my hand. So I had to shorten the stripes a bit, or narrow the stripes a bit on the sleeves. And we can talk about the colorways. This is Plommetre by Garnbutikken Fortuna. I'm going to double check I have all the bands in here, I hope. Hopefully I'm not saying these in the wrong order, because I'm not sure what's what. But this is Plommetre by Garnbutikken Fortuna. This is Skeiderskens Hage, I think. And this is Lensvika. This is Corner of Craft, Tonight I Bake, inspired by Lord Esteros, again from Hellspells. And this is Garnbutikken Fortuna, Gull. And maybe I could enter this. I can't enter this into the Knitters and Critters Mal because there's only one TTRPG inspired colorway. But I think this is going to be a beautiful jacket and I can't wait to have it finished. I'm going on a trip in September and I'm planning on using this then because it's really autumn colors and it's beautiful. So hopefully I can get it finished soon. I want it finished before the end of the summer. And because we have air conditioning, I can knit on that in the summertime. Those were my only active whips. I have a few whips planned. I want to cast on a pair of socks because Kay Jones has published a pattern specifically made for self-striping sock yarn that I really love, and I want to cast on a pair. I have plenty of self-striping sock yarn in stash, but I have quite a few pairs of socks on the needles already. I'm actually considering frogging one of my sock projects because it's self-striping yarn. I'm almost finished with the first sock though, so I'm not sure I want to. So, and I'm also started the first sleeve on the cardigan, but then again, socks are the perfect project for summer. So I might give myself permission to start yet another pair of socks. But I'm going through my sock projects today and maybe doing a bit of frog or finish because I know I have too many sock projects on the needles. I also need needles if I'm going to knit another pair of socks. So I'm going through my sock projects today to figure out if I have anything that I can frog. Again, I have too many sock projects as it is, but I really want to cast on those socks. I can't remember the name of them at the minute, but if you go to Kay Jones' Ravelry page, you'll see what I mean. It's her latest pattern, and I can of course put the name of the pattern at the bottom of the screen. That's even easier. So I'll do that. I have a bit of show and tell because my husband went away. He went to visit family. The last time I was talking to you, he was there, and he's well trained because he brought me yarn when he got back. He went to a local yarn store in the town he is from. I always go there when I'm there. It's a really nice lady, and I want to support the small businesses when I can. And he went to and he bought some. He bought me a bag of Sandnes alpaca, 7 different balls, 7 different colors. Sorry, 7 balls in different colors, and I really love the colors. The lady putting this together had really a good sense of colors. It's really lots of fall colors, and it's Sandnes alpaca. And as soon as I saw that, I knew I needed to get the main color so I can knit a stripy sweater with those. And I went to my local yarn store yesterday because, as I said, I had yarn left from this one. So I did exchange that. I had to put some money to it as well, but not a lot. And she had, I think it's 6 balls left of this grey color in Sandnes alpaca. It's a bit scary because this is a color that they don't make anymore. So if I don't have enough, I can't finish the sweater the way I think, the way I planned on doing it. But this is going to be the main color. The cuffs and the neck and the bottom hem is going to be this color, and I'm going to stripe this in between the other colors. And because I only have 6 balls of this, I can't. These stripes have to be a bit narrower, I think, than the other stripes. I'll see. I have to think a bit about this, how I want to do it. I haven't decided on a pattern yet, but I'm probably going to use one of those patterns where you have a really plain sweater, DK sweater. I'm not sure I want to use no frills because I don't want a raglan. I want a round yoke when I'm knitting stripes. I've knit striped sweaters in raglan, wet raglans before. I don't like this angle you get in the stripes when you do that. It works in the So Faded, but that's because that's color blocked and not striped. I love the stripes by Andrea Maury, but that would involve a lot of math, because if I knit that in DK, I have to do a lot of math to get everything to work out. So that's probably not what I'm going to use. I've been looking at the book I bought from Lerke Bager. I showed you that book, I think, 3 episodes ago. And I think there's a pattern in there for sort of a recipe for a DK sweater. And it's just the numbers, and you do whatever you want with the colors. And it's meant to be a scrappy sweater, sort of scrappy in my case, because I have 7 different colors and 1 main color. So I'm going to look through that book and see if I find something interesting. I put a sweater by... I think I have a sweater in my wish list, but that's not going to be for this yarn. That's going to be for the other yarn that hubby got me. It's in my wish list at the time being, because I haven't bought it yet, because I'm not knitting the sweater yet. I never buy. I put patterns in my wish list if I'm not sure if I'm going to knit them, because I have lots of patterns in my library, and lots of them I bought not on a whim, but because I had plans on knitting them, and when it's got around to me knitting them, I had already found a different pattern. So that's why I haven't bought the pattern yet. And that's for this yarn, because he also bought a sweater quantity. He came across this yarn on sale when it was there, and he sent me a picture. That's also something he does. He sends me pictures, and I looked at this yarn online, and he gave me the color numbers, and I checked out the color online. And I love this gray with lots of... It reminds me of the hedgehog tweedy I knit a sweater in. And this is a sport weight. And again, I know what I'm going to knit with this. I think I'm going to knit myself another fiola, because this is tweed. I don't want a sweater with lots of patterning in it, lots of texture, because the tweed also provides some texture, but the fiola is perfect, I think, because it's got a little bit of detail at the top, and it's got a lace panel down the sleeves, so it's not that boring of a knit. So that's 2 sweater quantities. I'm now going to store with my other sweater quantities. I have a special place for everything that's enough to make a sweater. And I actually bought some yarn yesterday, because this may sound strange, but the 2 last times I bought yarn from England, there was a lot of stress afterwards. The first skein of yarn landed in my Postboks. I didn't have to pay anything extra, and I was so pleased. And then I suddenly got a bill in the mail from the Norwegian Postal Service, and I had to pay almost the same amount as the yarn cost me in customs and VAT. And now another skein of yarn is on its way from Cornrow Craft, from her Knitical Roll Yarn Club, and they asked me to send them the invoice, a copy of the invoice, before they would send it on to me. And I just know that when I get it, I have to pay the same amount again that the yarn cost me. So it's double price, and because the Norwegian krona is so weak, it's already really expensive. So I bought my last skein of yarn from England, I think. I can't afford to do that, and because I was so frustrated, because loads of my favorite dyers are in England, I also have a couple in Canada. That I can fix because I have a mule in Canada. But because the krona is so weak, I can't afford to buy sweater quantities in Canada either, for the time being. So I decided to look at Norwegian web stores, places I couldn't afford to shop before because their prices were so much higher. But when I calculate in shipping, VAT, customs and everything, the yarn in the Norwegian yarn stores are actually cheaper in comparison. Because no surprises. You pay what you pay and then you get it in the mail, and it goes on, it only takes a few days. And I can get La Bien-Aimée. You have this specialist Norwegian yarn store online that specializes in high-end luxury yarns. And they sell, among other things, they sell La Bien-Aimée. And actually I can get a skein of La Bien-Aimée from a Norwegian web store for approximately what I pay for, let's say, one skein from Canada or UK. One skein of La Bien-Aimée is the same price, basically. I went in there because I needed some retail therapy, to be totally honest with you. And then I discovered they actually sell Brooklyn tweed. And I've always wanted to try Brooklyn tweed because I've heard a lot of great things about it, and it's 100% American sheep's wool. Targi, I think. And not only did they sell Brooklyn tweed, but it was on sale. So I bought myself a sweater quantity of Brooklyn tweed shelter. Trust me, it wasn't cheap, but it was much cheaper than the sweater quantity if I ordered a sweater quantity from Hedgehog Fibers in Ireland, for example. Or from Garnbutikken Fortuna in Norway. They're my place. They're the shop I go to if I want to buy Hedgehog Fibers. That's Garnbutikken Fortuna. And I ordered myself a sweater's quantity of Brooklyn tweed shelter. It was a bit scary because there were 2 different colors I really liked, or 3 different colors. I'm lying to you. I loved all the colors, but I ended up having to decide between 2 colors that were sort of the same, but one was more orangey than the other, and because I haven't seen them in person, I'm not sure what they will look like when I get them. But I went for the more brown one, but it's still sort of a cinnamon color. Hopefully it looks like cinnamon when I get it, because I love that color. And I've also decided on a project for that, and that's an Isabel Kramer, and that's also in my wish list. I put everything there until I get a chance to knit it. I don't want to buy the pattern yet. And I have to pick it's a really special pattern for that one, I think. But I can't wait to try to knit with shelter. Hopefully I ordered enough yarn. I ordered enough yarn for the sweater I wanted to knit with it. But again, I'm no stranger to adapting patterns if I feel like I might be a little short on yarn. But I shouldn't be in this case. So that yarn is probably on its way to me. Maybe it's in my Postboks today, for all I know. I'll of course show you that yarn the next time. And sure, I'm going to post a picture on Instagram when it arrives. And hopefully the yarn I ordered from Cornrow Craft from our Knitpical Roll Yarn Club is also on its way to me after spending some time in customs. So now that I know that I've speculated in unfollowing all my favorite dyers on Instagram or unsubscribing to all my favorite dyers, because I keep getting bombarded with beautiful pictures of beautiful yarn and I can't buy it. So but I still want to see the yarn, so we'll see. Maybe I keep torturing myself with looking at all the beautiful pictures. But I have a plan, because I can't buy any yarn from the UK online. Me and hubby we have definitely decided that we're going to the UK in February. So I'm going to Unravel. And he's going to, and we're also going to a football match. So he is going with me to a yarn festival. I'm going with him to a football match. So we get what we want, both of us. And we have figured out that the easiest way for us to get to Unravel is that we, when we get to England, we touch down on Heathrow, and we're taking a. We arrive on a Friday, and we're taking the train to where Unravel is, where they have Unravel, and we're going to stay the night there. We're going to the festival, and then we're going to get on another train and go on to Brighton. And the football match is the day after. So Saturday is the day I'm going to be at Unravel, and I'm going to tell you more. If any of you are going to Unravel and want to meet up, I'm going to talk more about it. It's not until February, but I'm really, what should I say? I really look forward to it, even though lots of people scare me a bit. But it's a yarn festival, so I think I'm going to be alright. And my husband, I'm going to have hubby with me. And hopefully I can meet some of you. And I'm going to start saving up money now, so that I'm probably going to need an extra suitcase when I go back home, because I plan on doing some serious shopping. So that's next February, and it's a long ways away, so I'm not sure why I keep talking about it, but I'm really thrilled about going to a big yarn festival for the first time. The only one I've been to is Spring into Wool, and that's a small yarn festival in comparison to anything else. I know that EYF, or Edinburgh Yarn Festival, is not one I'm going to because it's too big. Just the thought of it scares me. I love Edinburgh, so we're probably going back there at some point, but not during the yarn festival. Rhinebeck is too far away and too big. So I think Unravel is the perfect festival for me to go to, because it's close to our favorite town in England, Brighton. So we can combine it with a trip to Brighton, and it's not too big, I think. I've never been to Unravel. Maybe I should look at YouTube. It's probably people have probably put out videos from Unravel, I guess, because I know of a few podcasters that's been to Unravel. And something I should have talked about up front, but I'm going to talk about it now, and it's that the winner of the giveaway from my 100th episode, lilushaaakash, she never got in touch with me, and I don't want to have that prize hanging around at my house. I want to get rid of it and get it out of the house. So if I don't hear from you, lilushaaakash, in the next 2 weeks I'm going to draw a new winner for the giveaway before my next episode, just so you know. So that's, I should have said that up top probably, but I'm going to draw a new winner in 2 weeks if lilushaaakash doesn't. I found an Instagram profile under that profile name, but I'm not contacting that person on Instagram, because there might be somebody else and they might claim the prize anyway. So lilushaaakash, please contact me if somebody else knows who that is. Can you please let them know that they won, and let them know how to, and tell them to contact me either on Instagram or on my email, and that's arcticcraftsbybente@gmail.com. Just so you know. Again, I should probably have said that up top. I don't have a lot to talk about in addition to what I've already said. I'm not sure how I've been going on for about half an hour. It's probably going to be edited. Quite a bit, probably. But because I keep rambling on about random stuff. So today we don't have a lot of plans. We're probably going to do our first. We're going to do session 0 or 0.5, as my husband said, because we already made our characters. But me and Isak, my oldest son, we decided that our characters didn't meet beforehand. So we have to have a short session where we sort of meet up and get to know each other a bit before we go on our adventures. My youngest son also has a character that keep jumping campaigns, because he plays the same character whatever campaign he joins, because his character is a half-orc fighter, and half-orc fighters are really good to have, whatever the campaign. So he's a much higher level than us, but that doesn't matter, because he's only going to join us for a session or maybe 2. We're starting 2nd level. Almost level 3, like my husband said. He's the DM. He wants to level us up after the first couple of sessions. But he wants us to try out the characters a bit first, because when you level up to level 3, quite a lot happens and you have to make some choices. And so he wants us to do a couple of sessions, level 2, before we level up. All of this, again, probably doesn't interest you. Those of you that play Dungeons & Dragons, you're welcome. Those of you that don't, I'm so sorry. But if I keep talking about things that interest me, and I should stop apologizing for it. If you don't like my podcast, you can watch somebody else's podcast. And I'm not doing advertising anymore. I've checked, and I think if I don't, because I started monetizing my videos when YouTube started putting adverts in anything as long as you had more than 1,000 subscribers. But I think they don't do that. I think that was an urban myth, to be honest with you. I don't think they do that. So I'm not monetizing my episodes anymore, so I'm not too worried about the number of subscribers. So I of course would love to have more subscribers. I've been thinking about doing a giveaway when I reach 1,500, but that may never happen. So I'll get back to you on that if I get close to 1,500 subscribers. But again, I'm not sure that's going to happen anytime soon, if ever. I was also thinking about doing some extra recordings this summer, but I don't want to. I touched on this on my last episode. I don't want to put the camera into my boys' faces during their summer holidays. And my youngest is now working full-time, so we only had 3 weeks of summer holidays. He's spending the entire thing with his mother. Me. I'm not sure why I suddenly started talking in third person. So I want him to have a vacation. So I'm going to record a podcast here in the bedroom in 2 weeks. And other than that, I don't think I'm going to record anything. I'll just... I'm going to do some dyeing, I think. But maybe not during the summer. I think I'm going to start dyeing again in August for prizes and for myself. I think I'm going to end it there. I've talked about what I was supposed to talk about, plus a lot of other stuff that I didn't have to talk about. But you had to listen to it anyway, because this is my podcast. Hobby calls this my therapy diary, because I keep talking about stuff that has nothing to do about knitting. Nothing to do with knitting, sorry. As I keep saying, English is my second language. I hope you like the new setup. I like it. It's kind of a messy background, but again, it's not a boring background. If I was sitting in an angle here, you'd see just a wall with nothing on it, and that's a bit boring. The light is coming in from the side. That's not optimal, but hopefully it works. It works for the time being, at least. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye bye.